Good morning. We are live now, yes. So, wanted to talk about fruit this morning. So, yesterday in our private group in a 21-day kickstart, I was talking about snacking quite a lot. So, we went for a few snack alternatives. A few of the ladies saying to me that, you know what, I'm exercising well, I'm doing self-care for me, but I'm still snacking on the wrong stuff. And then I had a one-to-one, which is what we do at the start of the session, where we have start the program, when we have a bit of a kickstart, we put together your plans. And someone said, I just snack too much on fruit. Then they said, can you actually eat too much fruit? Which is a great question, and something I wanted to go on today, because I love eating fruit, especially since we've been getting fruit boxes. Wiltshire fruit and veg we've been using. We've used 5 a day as well. Both really good. Hi, Michelle. But amazing how I've started to eat so much fruit just because we get a big delivery. The kids love the delivery as well. They're in there like, oh, look at that, look at that. I'll be honest, I'm getting things and I'm having things that I'd never normally have. Passion fruit, I'd never normally buy that. Or pineapples, I just think, I can't be bothered to cut it up. But where it's there, I'm making the most of it and I'm getting more nutrition in. Now, back to the question, can you eat too much fruit? The answer is yes. Morning, Caroline. And no. Remember, like and share if you find this helpful or know someone who might find this helpful. The answer is yes and no. Boring, I know, because it depends. It depends on, wait for it, what the alternative is. So if the alternative is you have a slice of cake or you have some sweets or you're hungry, then of course fruit is going to be better. Fruit is high in fiber, high in nutrition, antioxidants. Because of that, it tends to be quite filling, the fiber content. Plus, it's full of water. Dried fruit's slightly different here, but it's full of water, fluid. You look at grapes, you can get a mound on your plate, compare that to raisins. Grapes are quite filling. You might feel like you're eating a lot, but they are filling. Plus, for the calorie intake, they're not too bad at all. So you'll probably feel more full up. It might hit your sweet tooth a bit. You'll feel more satisfied because of that. You're eating something that is then lower in calories than, say, like cake. So that alternative is a good thing. Hey, Diana. So this essentially could be contributing to you eating fewer calories. But there's more than this. We know that people who increase their fruit and veg, of course, don't forget veg, intake to 5 per day. So people who go from, say, 1 to 2 to 5 a day see a huge difference in their reductions in cholesterol, reduced risk of diseases like cancer, diabetes, etc. We see this in epidemiology research, albeit, but we still see it. But as with most things, too much isn't always a good thing. So I want to kind of go through a few of the things why fruit might have got a bad name. So fruit contains, number one is fruit contains a sugar called fructose, okay? So fructose is converted to fat, is what people would say. Linked to fatty liver is what people say. And they're right. This fructose can be. It's only processed by your liver as opposed to glucose, which is the sugar found in, say, potatoes, more predominantly found in potatoes, rice, like starch basically is broken down into glucose. So glucose can be stored, processed in your muscles. So another good reason to do resistance exercise, use your muscles, because you're essentially draining your storage, so you've got more space for sugar, which is a good thing in terms of blood sugar regulation. So another good reason to do resistance exercise and actually focus on muscle and get that toned look. Anyway, I digress. Fructose can only really be processed by the liver. So essentially they say, you can't store as much in the liver. Once too much fructose in the liver is bad. And they are right, but you still need to eat too many calories to store more fat. Plus, and this brings to my next point, any negative impact of this fructose is normally relating to high fructose corn syrup. You might have seen this as glucose fructose or high HGCS. They say it in many different ways, and this is found generally in like processed foods like cakes, biscuits, generally processed foods, fizzy drinks, not diet ones, like full sugar ones. And they use fructose because, one, it's sweeter than glucose, and it's cheaper. So if you think about it, you're using something that's ultra sweet, which is found in nature anyway, so it seems healthy, but they've taken away the fiber, they've taken away the nutrition, they've taken away anything that will keep you full up and essentially help you satisfy you, and keeping one part of it in. This one part has been shown to make you eat more. AKA, morning Rachel, AKA, when you drink fizzy drinks that are full sugar, people tend to experience higher calorie intakes. Whether that's because it makes them hungry, we don't really know, but it seems that way. So does this mean making fruit makes you fat? Does it mean eating fruit makes you fat? Of course not, because with fruit, you're getting the fiber, nutrition, minerals, etc. Fiber is going to keep you full up, slow the digestion down. Plus, when you're giving your body what it needs, you're hitting that physiological need of it. So if you're getting lots of vitamins, nutrition, you're probably going to feel more full up. The roughage from the fiber is going to help slow everything down, might help you poop too. So this keeps us full, satisfied, and helps us not to overeat. So, consider that. The last point I want to bring up is the detox smoothie phase. And I'm actually a big fan of like smoothies if they're made well. They're convenient, easy. If you add some protein powder in, you got a whole meal, done. However, when you think about it from a physical food compared to smoothieing it, you've got, if you take 2 handfuls of berries, 2 handfuls of grapes and a banana, plus a glass of milk and some yogurt, and put all that food out in front of you, you'd be like, wow, that's a lot of food. You work your way through that, you'll be absolutely stuffed. Now blend it all, make it into one drink. You could probably drink it like that. That's 56 grams of sugar, roughly. And if you put that into perspective, a dairy milk, like a caramel dairy milk, would have about 24 grams of sugar. I'm not saying a dairy milk is more healthy, etc., but it's just interesting how you can overload it with healthy foods, but then you're actually defeating the object, especially if your goal is fat loss. You're now just overloading yourself, right? And it's very easy to consume. So, in summary, you can overeat on fruit, but the key thing, you're only overeating if you overeat on carbs, sugar, and ultimately calories. So it still comes back to that. So consider this. What's the alternative? So what would be the alternative? If you're about to snack and you're like, I better not have another piece of fruit because it's high in sugar. What's the alternative? Then you could consider, okay, what could you do instead? Are you actually hungry? What would you eat instead? How are you feeling? Are you bored, tired? What could you do instead of eating if you're not actually hungry? Are you hydrated? Have you eaten enough veg, protein? All questions that might impact whether you overeat or not. Hope that helps. I am going to off to eat an apple and my banana pancakes. Maybe I'm biased towards fruit, who knows? But I've never known anyone to really, with fruit being the option, being the issue in terms of weight loss, in terms of health. You would have to eat a hell of a lot of fruit, but it would probably be from what you're eating elsewhere. Hope that helps. If you wanted a little, like, really simple structure of this, like snacking, etc., just comment below and let me know, and I'll send you something to help with kind of these questions in terms of, am I hungry? Am I bored? A little checklist on comfort eating. Just comment below with that, with yes, and then I'll send that over to you. So, hope that helps. Morning, Gillian. Any questions, as always, let me know, and speak soon.